Hello, dear students. After learning what is group Y, let's see what is having clause. Now you can see in the syntax given over here or in the grammar given, having is always followed by a condition. Having word is followed by a condition, just as where is followed by a condition. So the overall grammar says select column names that we want to list from table name. Then comes where condition so that we can filter out the rows. Group by column names. So group by is always appearing after where. Just remember. So if you have where clause, then group by must come after where clause. And after group by you can write having. So you just can't change the order of this. You can't say from table or table name, then first you cannot write group by first and then where, or you can't write having first. So this order, which is written over here must be maintained. Why? Why really should we bother about this order? What where does? Please try to understand. Where actually filters out the rows of the table which obey this particular condition, isn't it? Once you have selected the rows as the condition applies, then you can apply group by on that particular row. So first of all, you decide that how many rows are you going to work on. Once you decide how many rows are you going to work, then you can group those rows according to some column, and finally you can write having. But what is having? First of all, that was the topic, isn't it? What happens is many times when you group by some column, you want to check some condition on that group itself. What am I talking about? See this, where actually checks the condition for each row. Please try to understand. When we write where some condition, this condition is checked for each row of the table, and the row which obeys the condition is only selected, only that row is selected. But what if we want to put some condition on the group itself? Then we write having condition. As an example will speak enough. We have this emp table again. Remember, in the earlier video we had the same emp table, and now we want to list department id in which at least 3 employees work. Just check the departments in which at least 3 employees. At least three employees means three or more. So you can see department number 1 has 3 employees. So we must print department ID 1. Yes, in the output, we must get department ID 1 because this department has at least 3 employees. You can see department number 2 has 4 employees. So department number 2 also should be printed. But department number 3, as you see, department number 3 has only 2 employees. So department number 3 should not be listed. So what will be the query? You see this, the query we have given is select department ID. Of course, we want to print department IDs which has at least 3 employees from EMP, and then we will group by department ID. Okay. Now you recall when we group by department ID, then all the departments of one group are grouped together. Then all the employees of second group or department ID 2 are grouped together, and same goes with 3. And then what we are doing is we are applying having condition on that group, saying count the number of rows. Now please try to understand, this count star means count the number of rows, but this will count the number of rows in the group, not in the entire table. So per group, it will count the number of rows. Number of rows are 3, and we have said if the number of rows in that group is greater than or equal to 3, print that department ID. Are you understanding? So count star will run for each group, and for each group the count will be found. I hope you are understanding. So the condition written after having, the condition written after having applies for the group, not for the rows. Okay. Now, what if we want to write a query like this. List all department IDs which have average salary greater than 40,000. So first we will group, correct? Group by department ID. And we want to list department IDs only for those departments which has average salary greater than 40,000. So first we will create groups, and for each group, we have to check whether average salary is greater than 40,000. So we will put having, we can say print, or rather select only those groups which are having. That's the way, isn't it? Select only those groups which are having this condition true. Average EMP salary greater than 40,000. Let's take one more example. Here we are having that schema of institute database which we created earlier. You can see that student table, course table, enroll, teacher and teaches, and some instance of the table have been shown. These are our students, these are the courses offered, and this is how the enrollment has been done. Student number 1 has taken admission in course number 100 and so on. Student number 2 has taken admission in course 104, and these are our teachers. And this is teachers table which tells that teacher 1001, this is the number of the teacher. Teacher 1001 teaches the course 100. Teacher 1001 also teaches the course 101 and so on. Now just imagine we want to write a query like this. List names of the students who have enrolled for at least 2 courses. So basically, what we want is, we want name of the student who have enrolled. Okay, here is the enroll table, who have enrolled for at least 2 courses. Okay, think over it. What we will have to do is that to count that student number 1 has enrolled for how many courses. To count this, correct, we will have to take the help of enroll table, because enroll table knows which student has taken admission for which course. But we want name of that student number 1, and name is present in student table. So we will have to take, what you say, join of these two tables, isn't it? So we will have to write a query which says select, what do you want to select? Yes, S name, student name. But from, we will say from, select this from student, comma, enroll. You very well know why the second table is involved over here. Although S name is only in the student table, but we need to join these two to get the information of about the student has taken admission in how many courses. So first of all, we will have to write join condition, that will be student dot sid is equal to enroll dot sid. Okay, this column sid is matched with this column sid of enroll table. What about one more condition over here that we will have to do is that, first of all, I missed out where, so I'm so sorry. Where? So where student.sid matches enroll.sid, this is the join condition. And then we will have to group. Yes, we will have to group by sid. Are you understanding? We will have to group on sid. If we create the groups over here, just check the pointer. If we create the groups here, in that case, we will get all the students having student ID 1 in one group, and it will be very easy for us to count that how many such students are there in the enroll table for roll number 1. How many such entries are there in the enroll table for roll number 2, and so on. And that's going to give us how many admissions has each student taken. So I hope you are understanding this join condition. It has to be there because we are picking the data from two different tables. So as you can see, we have selected S name from student enroll. This is the join condition. And now we are grouping by SID, isn't it? We are grouping by SID. You note that instead of student.sid, it could be okay if you have written enroll.sid, because anyway, first you are matching student.sid and enroll.sid. So we know both are equal, isn't it? So that doesn't matter. But then all the students having ID1 will be together in one group. All the students having ID2 will be together in one group, correct? And then we are easily asking a question on each group. Is this group having count star, the number of rows greater than or equal to 2? If the number of rows in that group are greater than or equal to 2, then surely the student has taken admission in at least two courses. I hope you have understood. Okay. Similarly, there is a query, you can see list names of the teachers who teach the courses in which at least two students have enrolled. Are you understanding the problem? We want to find out the teachers who teach the courses in which at least two students have enrolled. So let's find out first of all which are the courses in which there are at least two students. Let's see course number 100. Course number 100. Who have enrolled for course number 100? Student number 1, correct? This person has enrolled for course number 100, and student number 2. This person has also enrolled for course number 100, isn't it? So course number 100 is such a course for which at least two students have enrolled. And who is teaching this course number 100? Course number 100 is taught by teacher 1001. So name of this teacher is T1. So T1 should be listed because T1 is such a teacher who teaches a course 100 is the course number in which at least two students are involved, have enrolled, isn't it? You note 1001 is the teacher, isn't it? ID, and T1 is the name of the teacher. So we want teacher name. So we will list T1. Okay, just to continue, let's see course 101. Who are all the students who have taken admission in 101? In 101 course, you can see only one student has taken admission. I hope so. Yes. So this 101 course is not of our interest because only one student has taken admission. So there is no point in going to the teacher table and finding who teaches this course. But 102, you observe, 102 course. 102 course is taken by student number 5, as you see, and is taken by student number 4. So this is the course taken by at least two students. So we would be interested in finding who teaches this course because we want to print the name of the teacher who teaches this course, isn't it? Course number 101. And you can see 1001 teaches course number 101. And the name of this teacher is T1. But 1001 is taught by 1002 also. This is also the teacher who teaches that course. So even T2 should be printed. Are you understanding? Okay. So how many tables are involved, by the way? You could have seen that we were referring table course, correct? Course to know the course name, then enroll, then teacher, and then teaches. Isn't it? We don't have to refer course table because we would be referring course table if we need the course name. Because come on, the course IDs are there over here, isn't it? In the enroll table. So we can easily form groups on these course IDs. Are you understanding? So what can happen is this course ID 100 will be in one group. So this 100 followed by this 100, they will form one group, and then we can find out the how many rows are there in that particular group. But surely the join will be taken for these three tables because we will have to find out who teaches the course in the teachers table and what is the name of that teacher. I hope you are understanding. So you can go through the query. The answer has been given here, and I hope you will understand this very well. That's how group by and having is used. Thank you very much.